The night holds you like a soft secret, the air cool and still against your skin. Somewhere far beyond these walls, a single lantern flickers and dims, as if breathing in unison with your own quiet rhythm. In this hush time, unravels its tether, and you are neither here nor there, only awake to the gentle unfolding of now. You step barefoot across the polished wooden floor, each grain of the board a whisper beneath your toes. The lantern's glow spills in arcs along the corridor, illuminating the curve of a simple earthenware vase, where a single lotus blossom floats on water petals open, but weightless an image of impermanence itself. You pause, remembering the teaching of dependent origination, that every moment arises from countless conditions, and with their passing dissolves once more into emptiness. Beneath that vase, a thin film of water ripples as though stirred by the faintest breath, reminding you that nothing holds its form for long. Ahead, the temple courtyard stretches under the yawning sky. Moonlight drapes across moss-covered stones, and the silhouette of an ancient pine tree stands sentinel. Its needles shimmer like silver tongues, and you recall the Zen anecdote of the monk sweeping leaves beneath such a tree, only to realize that the sweeping was the path itself, each leaf, each sweep inseparable from the act of awakening. You draw in the night air, tasting its softness, and exhale, letting go of the stories you carry about yesterday and tomorrow. As you continue, your feet find the worn stones that lead to the edge of a placid koi pond. The surface lies still, reflecting the moon in perfect clarity, until a single fish breaks the mirror with a gentle swirl, silver scales catching the light before vanishing again into the depths. You watch and wonder what remains when the pond is still and the moon unmoved by ripples. What remains when there's nothing left to hold on to? A soft breeze stirs the bamboo grove beyond the pond, and you follow its song deeper into the garden. The hollow echo of wind through bamboo speaks of emptiness of space, not barren, but full, a vast openness in which sounds rise and fall like soft prayers. Here you settle upon a flat rock, warmed by the day's sun, letting your spine straighten while your shoulders soften. In this moment, you rest in the teaching of no self, recognizing that the boundaries you draw between inner and outer begin to dissolve in the limitless night. Closing your eyes, you feel each breath as a gentle wave, inhalation, like the rising tide, exhalation, like its retreat. Thoughts drift by, weightless, as autumn leaves carried on the wind. You notice a stray thought of worry, tomorrow's tasks, a memory you cannot change, and you invite it to float away, as you might watch clouds drifting across the sky. You do not chase the clouds. You simply witness their passage. When you open your eyes again, the courtyard lantern is unlit, and the dark has deepened. Yet within you, a soft light glows, a steady knowing that, like the lotus in the vase, you too are held and sustained by countless unseen conditions. In this embrace of quiet presence, your heart finds space to unfold, to release each tension. The boundary between you and the world grows thin, and you rest in the seamless flow of being. Pause here for a moment. Feel the rise and fall of your chest, the rhythm of your pulse, the gentle unfolding of awareness. What remains when you surrender all that you cannot hold? In the stillness of this question, you find the door to a deeper calm where the soft chant of the heart carries you onward into sleep. Soft darkness envelops you as you rise from the stone seat, the night's hush, a gentle cushion beneath your steps. Lanterns rest unlit along the pathway, their presence a promise of light that need not burn to be known. You walk toward the far end of the garden, where a low wooden gate opens onto a bamboo grove lit only by silvered moonbeams. Each stalk stands like a silent teacher, motionless yet alive, reminding you of inner being, how the breath you draw is the same breath that stirs the grove, how your heartbeat mirrors the pulse of this living place. Beyond the gate, the earth slopes gently toward a hidden alcove where a moss-covered statue of the Buddha sits in serene repose. You kneel before it, fingertips brushing the cool moss, and feel the ancient stone beneath your touch. In that moment, the teaching of emptiness rises in your mind. Form is emptiness. Emptiness is form. Here, the statue and the moss are not two, but one tapestry of earth and time. A single drop of dew clings to the Buddha's cheek, glinting like a tear, both nothing and everything, a testament to the fleeting beauty of this world. A distant sound of flowing water draws you onward, a small waterfall hidden behind fan-shaped ferns. You follow the sound, letting it guide your steps until you arrive at a narrow stream tumbling over smooth stones. The water's voice is clear and unhurried, each note a soft reminder that life itself is movement, each drop a lesson in letting go. You sit beside the stream, legs crossed, and dip your fingers into its current. The coolness spreads through your hand, and with it comes the recognition that, like water, you shape yourself around every obstacle, yet continue forward unbroken. As you watch the stream, an old Zen story comes to mind. A disciple asked the master, "How do I cross the river of suffering?" The master pointed to the flowing water and said, "By being the river, shaping yourself, letting go, never resisting the current." In this reflection, you feel the river within you begin to flow more freely, carrying away the weight of expectation, the sediment of regret. Closing your eyes, you listen to the water's song and invite your breath to match its rhythm. Inhale as the water gathers strength. Exhale as it cascades over rock. Thoughts of should and must arise, but you watch them slip into the stream, dissolving like ink on water. What remains when you let every burden enter the flow and vanish beyond your sight? After a time, you stand and continue along the path, which now ascends gently toward a secluded pavilion under the pine. The roof's wooden beams curve upward like open hands receiving the night sky. You step beneath and settle onto the cool wooden floor legs, folded spine tall. Above you, stars tremble with subtle brilliance, each one a distant mirror of your own awareness. In their flicker, you find the teaching of impermanence once more. Every star burns briefly against the vast dark, just as every thought and feeling glows and wanes within your awareness. Here you rest in the vast expanse of both sky and mind, each as immeasurable as the other. You inhale the scent of cedar and pine, earthy and ancient, and exhale any final trace of restlessness. The boundary between breath and breeze, between self and sky, softens until there is only the gentle surrender of presence. In this quiet sanctuary, you lean back and feel the board beneath you, solid yet part of the living temple. You feel grounded in the now, held by the teaching that every moment is complete, every breath an opening into the whole. Allow yourself to drift here on the edge of wakefulness, where the night carries you softly toward the dream that waits beyond form and thought. A soft warmth draws you onward as you leave the pavilion, the wooden planks murmuring under your feet like an echo of your breath. You follow a winding stone path that threads through a field of wild grasses, their slender tips swaying in the night breeze as if bowing in silent greeting. In this movement, you sense the teaching of impermanence anew. Each blade rises and falls, born and still mirroring the subtle rise and fall of your own mind. Ahead, fireflies flicker like tiny lanterns caught between earth and sky. You pause to watch their dance light appearing, vanishing, reappearing, an effortless demonstration of dependent origination. Each glow arises only because countless conditions align and fades when those conditions shift. You hold your hand out, palm open, and one firefly rests upon your fingertip, its glow gentle against your skin before it lifts away, returning to the silent choreography of night. Continuing, you come upon a shallow pool, nestled among ferns, reflecting the moon as if harboring a second sky. You kneel beside it and let your hand hover just above the surface. In the still mirror, you see your own reflection clear and unguarded. The teaching of no self arises, then reminding you that this image, this you, is also made of reflections, sensations, thoughts, conditions, each as transient as the ripple that would break this perfect circle. You breathe into the pool's calm, and for a moment, melt into the silence unbound by any shape. As you rise, you notice a weathered tea house ahead, its paper screens glowing softly from within. A single monk sits on the threshold back straight, holding an empty cup. As you approach, he offers it to you without a word. You take the cup palms cupped around its cool form and realize it is already full, not of tea, but of boundless openness. He smiles a quiet curve of knowing, and you recall the Zen anecdote of the master who would pour teaching into a disciple's cup until the cup overflowed only to pour more teaching. That wisdom must be met with an empty heart, not a mind already full. Seated beside the monk, you close your eyes and set the cup down, sensing the space within you expand like the widening bowl. You feel gratitude for this emptiness, this readiness to receive what arises without clinging. What remains when the cup is empty and the heart is still? You rise again, leaving the tea house and following a narrow bridge across a shallow creek strewn with river stones. Each step on the wooden planks feels guided by an unseen hand, as if the path itself knows your name. On the other side, a gentle slope leads to the temple's highest terrace, where the breeze carries the faint scent of incense waiting to be lit at dawn. Here you stand at the edge, gazing across the vast landscape of garden wood and sky. Stars drift slowly, like clouds of light, and you feel yourself drift too untethered, unbound, fully present. You draw a final breath, deep into your belly, letting each cell fill with the night's peace. And as you exhale, you surrender to the gentle pull of sleep, carried on the rhythms of breath, the teachings of the heart, the endless dance of light and shadow. The terrace beneath you is warm from the day's sun, though the night has cooled the air around your shoulders. You lie back slowly, palms open to the sky, and the stillness deepens, not just around you, but within. A bell somewhere in the distance chimes once long and low, as if it too were falling into silence. The sound reverberates through the hills and into your chest, a single note lingering long after it fades. In its wake, you remember the teaching of right view, not seeing with the eyes, but with the heart that does not grasp or reject, only receives. Above you, the stars are quiet and many. They do not strive to shine. They are simply present. This thought settles over your chest like a blanket. The sky holds every light, every shadow, every question. And you too are held not by answers, but by awareness itself. At the edge of the terrace, a small stone basin catches moonlight in its still water. You rise and move toward it, cupping your hands and lifting a handful of water to your brow. The coolness shocks you gently into this moment. You breathe it in. A small moth dances near the water, drawn by reflection rather than flame. Its wings flicker against your arm and vanish into the dark. You think of the Zen, teaching enlightenment is not becoming more, but becoming less. Like the moth, you are drawn not to answers, but to the still pool of presence. The breeze lifts again, and with it, a slow rustling through the nearby trees. You follow the sound descending from the terrace into a grove where cedar trees rise like silent pillars. One has fallen long ago and now nurses moss beetles and new shoots from its body. Even in decay, it is not wasted. Even in stillness, it continues. You run your hand along the trunk, feeling its softness, and reflect on the teaching of interbeing that in birth there is death, and in death new life. You sit beside it and close your eyes. There is nothing to do here. No breath to force, no posture to correct, no thought to chase. There is only the natural rhythm of being as effortless as waves on a shore you cannot see, but know is there. A cloud passes over the moon, and in its shadow, you feel your edges soften, your name fade into the hush. The wind sighs through the trees like the breath of a sleeping earth. You begin to walk again, slowly returning toward the heart of the temple. On the way, you pass a monk kneeling before a lantern, trimming the wick in silence. He does not look up, but his presence speaks. His every motion says, "This is practice. This is enough." You pause and watch until he finishes the lantern flickering back to life with a steadier flame. He bows gently to it and to you, and the stillness between you feels sacred. You turn toward the dormitory where you'll sleep. The door creaks open softly, the paper panels shifting in the breeze. Inside, your mat is laid out with simple care, and a folded cloth rests at its edge. You kneel to unroll it, smoothing the corners as if folding your thoughts into rest. Your body lowers into the mat, the wood beneath you, grounding your spine, the night air feathering across your cheek. You exhale through your nose, letting the sound be slow and soft. There is no need to gather thoughts now. They are already floating away. There is no story to end, only the invitation to let it pause. You recall the Zen image of a leaf on the surface of a river. It does not steer. It simply rides the current. And now you are the leaf. The river is your breath. The direction does not matter. You are carried always back to this, what remains when there is no name, no goal, no self to arrive. What remains is this moment just as it is, and you rest there where nothing is missing. Somewhere in the stillness, a soft rain begins to fall, not loud, not sudden, but like a memory returning gently to the earth. You lie there, eyes closed, listening to the patter of drops against the temple roof, like distant drums that keep no time. Each drop is a note in a rhythm older than thought. You feel the teaching in your bones that all things rise and fall without needing your permission. Thoughts, feelings, memories, they come like the rain and vanish just the same. You open your eyes briefly and see shadows dancing along the paper screen. Rain traces lines across it like ink bleeding through parchment. A Zen monk once said, "The rain falls equally on the mountain and the gutter." There is no judgment in nature, no preference, only falling, only being. You turn toward that wisdom, now not trying to become better, but simply becoming quiet. The scent of earth and rain drifts in through the open door. You breathe it in. The world smells alive. Each inhalation pulls in more than oxygen it draws in the presence of now. You recall a story of a master who pointed to a single raindrop clinging to a leaf and said, "This is the whole universe, just for this moment." You close your eyes again and feel it, how even the smallest moment, the smallest breath, contains everything. You begin to drift between worlds, half here, half in the dreamscape beyond. Your body feels heavier, now grounded and safe. There is a rhythm inside you that matches the rain, a pulse that no longer races but rests. The thoughts that once circled like restless birds now perch quietly, wings folded. In the stillness, your awareness spreads like fog, soft, slow, indistinct. There is nothing you must grasp, no insight you must force. You lie in the wisdom of not knowing. The breath flows in and out, each cycle smaller, quieter. You are not solving anything. You are not becoming anyone. You are simply returning. And now, the night deepens. Even the wind rests. The rain slows. You lie in this silence that is not empty, but full with presence, with peace. You are a mountain under moonlight, a leaf on water, a candle whose flame still flickers long after the match is gone. No need to reach for anything more. Everything is already here. And so you drift. And so you soften. And so you sleep. The silence grows so wide it seems to cradle the world. Even your breath feels suspended within it, like a feather resting in midair. There is no past pulling you, no future pressing forward. Only this still and sacred moment. In the quiet, you sense a teaching long whispered in Zen circles, that awakening is not a flash of light or thunder, but a soft returning again and again to what is already here. Your body sinks deeper into the mat. Gravity no longer feels like pressure. It feels like kindness. Like the earth is embracing you gently, without asking for anything in return. Your fingers lie open. Your shoulders are light. There is nothing to carry. You remember the story of the traveling monk who set down his heavy pack to rest beside the road, only to realize he had never needed it at all. How much lighter the journey became from that moment on. Through the paper screen, a breeze moves gently through the room, lifting the edge of the cloth that covers you. It is not cold. It is simply movement, reminding you that stillness is never frozen, but alive. In that breeze, you feel the teaching of interdependence. Even your sleep is not separate from the wind, the rain, the trees breathing outside your door. Everything contributes to your rest. You turn your head slightly on the pillow, and the scent of cedar meets you again. It mingles with the memory of incense that once burned in the meditation hall. The fragrance lingers not as something to chase, but as a quiet echo of presence. Like the story of the disciple who asked his master, "What is the scent of enlightenment?" The master replied, "The fragrance of things as they are." You let the scent fill you. No striving, just being. Thoughts try to form, but they are softer now, like distant voices behind a closed door. You hear them, but they no longer pull you. You do not open the door. You let them speak and fade. In their place arises the calm awareness of your breath, still there, still steady. You follow it inward, as if descending a staircase into a deeper home, one step at a time. The rain has stopped. You didn't notice when. That's how sleep begins, gently, invisibly, not as a destination, but as a dissolving. You don't fall asleep. You are allowed to. You are welcomed into it, as the temple welcomes the moonlight, without effort, without resistance. There is a Zen image that returns to you now, a single candle flame lighting another. No struggle, no loss, just light passed onward. That is how peace spreads within you tonight. Not because you forced it, but because you allowed it. Allowed the breath. Allowed the dark. Allowed the slow letting go of everything you thought you had to be. So now you rest. You do not need to do anything else. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not too late. You are simply here, and the night is enough. You feel the breath settle deeper now, no longer something you do, but something that gently happens. Like waves reaching a quiet shore, it comes and goes, without needing your help. Each inhalation arrives like a guest in the doorway, unhurried, unannounced. Each exhalation departs like a sigh from a tired sky. The body softens further. Even your thoughts grow slow, as if wrapped in layers of dusk. In the quiet of your resting form, a small story unfolds, not in words, but in feeling. A monk once asked, "When the mind is no longer disturbed, what remains?" The master replied, "A mirror. That reflects everything and holds on to nothing." You are that mirror now. The images come and go, the dreams form and drift, but you do not hold. You reflect and release. Outside, the wind has faded. The trees stand still listening. Even the insects seem to have folded their song into the hush. There's no sound to cling to, no rhythm, but the soft beat of your heart, which now moves with the quiet joy of simply existing. Somewhere nearby, perhaps only in memory, you hear the creak of temple doors, the faint brush of robes passing by, the slow rhythm of a broom sweeping the garden path. And yet, none of it stirs you. These echoes don't disturb the peace, they become part of it. You rest at the center of all things, unmoved yet present. No past calls you back. No future hurries you forward. There is no story you must finish, no lesson you must learn tonight. Even the teachings fade, now, not gone, but no longer needed. Like a raft that brought you across the river and is gently left behind on the shore. The dreams begin their work soft and formless. They do not demand clarity or structure. They do not arrive with judgment or rules. They come like mist through bamboo, touching nothing, obscuring nothing, simply existing. And in them, you are free. The cushion beneath your head feels like the earth itself, and the air above your chest feels like sky. You are suspended between ground and heavens belonging to both. You rest in the truth that there is no separation, not between you and the breath, not between the temple and the stars, not between waking and sleep. If a single thought arises now, let it be this: nothing is missing. Let it arrive and dissolve like a ripple on a pond that no longer needs to reflect anything. Let the night hold you as it always has, as it always will. And if that final breath you remember to notice tonight is the one that carries you into sleep, let it be the softest one yet, like wind brushing past a candle without disturbing its flame. Sleep does not need to be earned. Rest is not a prize. It is the nature of all things to return to stillness, and you too return there now, gently, slowly, as if you were never apart from it. Now even the lines between your body and the bed begin to blur. There is no tension left in your hands, no holding in your shoulders, no shape your thoughts must take. Everything dissolves into a gentle hum beneath your skin, the sound of existence without demand. You are here, but the you that must speak, decide, perform, has grown very quiet. What remains is only awareness, soft as moonlight on water. The window is slightly ajar, letting in a breath of the night. Cool, subtle, unspoken. It moves across your brow, like the hand of someone who cares, but asks nothing of you. You do not move. You do not need to. A deep part of you is being breathed as though the universe itself has drawn close to cradle your chest and lull it into rhythm. This is the return not to a destination, but to a rhythm older than thought, older than form. A faint bell rings in the far-off hall, not loudly, not for you. It simply marks a moment. Nothing changes. And yet, within the silence, it creates something relaxes even further. The teaching arises that peace is not found in escape from the world, but in being fully present within it, like a candle that flickers, not to illuminate, but to simply be. You drift now, between scenes not fully seen, sensations not fully touched. A garden, a pool of still water, the rustling of robes, a monk sweeping, a breeze catching a wind chime just once, not as a story, not as memory, but as a gentle unfolding of the moment's softness. There is no name for this place, no boundary between your breath and the dark. You are not inside or outside, asleep or awake. You are simply resting in being like the leaf that floats and doesn't sink, not because it resists, but because it trusts the water to hold it. What arises now needs no interpretation. The teachings have done their quiet work. The images have softened their edges. The path has circled gently back to the gate. And you have nothing left to seek. So remain here. Let the breath continue. Let your thoughts, if they come, arrive like fireflies, brief, beautiful, and already fading. And if the body begins to dream, let it. And if it doesn't, let that be too. You are not late. You are not lost. You are the pause between all things. You are the silence itself. The silence becomes your home now, not a silence of emptiness, but of fullness without weight. A silence that contains the whole sky, the temple, the wind, your breath. It wraps around you like an old robe, one worn thin with years of kindness. You feel no need to move. Not because you are tired, but because stillness has finally become enough. In that stillness, even your name seems far away. Not gone, but resting. You do not have to be anyone right now. Not a student, not a seeker, not a self. The Zen master once said, "Before I was born, who was I?" You don't need the answer. The question alone is peace. You float in it. There is a quiet inside you deeper than the quiet around you. It has no edges, no thoughts, no form. You feel it behind your chest, behind your eyes, behind even the breath. Like a well so deep that sound never reaches the bottom. And still, it is not empty. It is still. And that stillness is enough. From this quiet, the dream begins not with a jolt, but as a soft breeze through open paper walls. You do not chase it. You do not try to remember it. It carries you gently into itself, and you go without hesitation, without fear. The mind rests. The body floats. Even time has stepped aside to let you pass. Somewhere in the distance, the first bird begins to stir, not in song, but in presence. A feather brushing a branch, a shift in the air. It does not wake you. It joins you. For even sleep is not a severing, but a folding in, a deeper return. And now the world no longer leans forward. It has exhaled. So have you. There is nothing more to unfold. No more teachings to hear. No more breath to count. Only this. There is nothing more to say. And yet the silence continues, speaking in its own way, through the hush of the room, the rise and fall of your chest, the almost invisible rhythm of your heartbeat echoing in your pillow. The night does not ask for anything. It does not wait for you to finish. It simply remains constant, soft, eternal. You may drift now or not. There is no right way to rest. Some part of you may wander still, like mist among trees, brushing gently through the forest of thought. Let it wander. It will return when it is ready, just as all things do. Just as the wind returns to still air. Just as the wave returns to the ocean. Nothing is truly separate, not even you. In the distance, the temple's garden rests, untouched the stone paths, glistening faintly under the memory of rain. Somewhere, a candle's flame wavers and settles. The trees do not sway now. The clouds have passed. The sky is whole again. This stillness is not the absence of life, but the fullness of being held. You are not falling asleep. You are returning to what has always waited beneath the surface of doing, beneath identity and thought. A field of quiet where even the whisper of "I am" is unnecessary. Here the teachings dissolve, not because they are forgotten, but because they are lived. No self-impermanence interbeing. These are no longer words. They are the breath, the silence, the peace you now rest within. So stay as long as you need to. There is no gate that will close behind you. No bell to pull you back. Just this open, silent space. Here, where sleep and presence meet. You are safe. You are home. You are already held. Nothing moves now. Not the air. Not even the thoughts behind your thoughts. All things have come to rest. This stillness is not waiting. It is not a pause before something begins. It is the arrival, the destination you never knew you were seeking. You lie as if the earth itself has cradled you, drawn you into its arms without a sound. There's no edge to the comfort, no border to the peace. You are not beside it, within it, or surrounded by it. You are it. Just as the moon does not shine apart from the sky, you do not rest apart from the quiet. Somewhere in your memory, a koan returns. What is your original face before your parents were born? You don't try to solve it now. You let the question settle like ash in a stone bowl. There's no rush to answer, no urgency at all. Even the question feels soft now, like a thought half dreamed. You drift with it, not toward understanding, but into peace. You sense the teachings like distant bells echoing through a long valley. The self is not something you must protect. The past is not something you must carry. The future is not something you must predict. Each of these has been a coat you wore. And now, slowly, gently, you let each one fall to the floor. Your breath continues, but more gently than before, as if it too has become aware of the sacredness of this stillness. It no longer labors. It simply appears and disappears like clouds through mountain peaks. You are not asleep yet, and yet there is no effort to stay awake. You are not trying to let go. You have already let go. And here, in the deep of night, where no voice calls your name, you remember something truer than thought, that the peace you longed for was never far. It lived beneath every moment. It was the space between things. It was you when there was nothing left to protect. So if your body drifts into sleep, now let it. There is no more need to reach forward. No thread to follow. You have already arrived at the quiet center where nothing is missing. The breath, still soft, still steady, is your companion, your silent guide across the threshold of night. And as the world continues in its quiet turning, you remain held within this still moment, untouched by its motion. Thoughts may still brush past from time to time, like moth wings against the edges of sleep, but they do not land. They do not linger. You do not resist them, and in return, they carry no weight. They pass like wind through tall grass, gentle, unshaped, harmless. There is a knowing now, deeper than language, that sleep is not something you must chase. It is already here, waiting, arms open. And whether you cross into it slowly or all at once, it welcomes you without condition. It does not mind your thoughts. It does not mind your questions. It waits with the patience of earth until you are ready to fall. The temple's wooden beams creak faintly as they settle in the cool night air. The sound feels distant, like the voice of time itself sighing. And still, your body grows lighter. Or perhaps it is not that you weigh less. It is that you are no longer carrying anything. You have laid everything down at the edge of this breath. A soft warmth spreads beneath your skin. Not heat, but peace. The kind of warmth that comes when all striving has ended. The kind of warmth that comes when nothing remains to prove. You are not falling apart. You are falling inward. And this too is the path. The sky outside remains unchanged, wide, star-filled listening. But inside you something has shifted. A loosening, a release, like petals opening in the dark without needing to be seen. You are not trying to sleep. You are becoming sleep itself. Rest now. There is no finish line, no judgment, just this stillness returning like a tide. No more footsteps to follow. No more lanterns to light. Everything is quiet now, not as an absence, but as a presence so complete, nothing else needs to arrive. You are not outside of peace looking in. You are already inside it, breathing with it, dissolving into it, with every slow inhale, every softer exhale. The temple's breath is your breath. The trees no longer rustle. Even the air feels folded over itself, resting. You lie here as still as the stone basin in the courtyard, the water within reflecting nothing now, not because it is empty, but because it is whole. There is no teaching left to repeat, not because they are forgotten, but because they have become part of you. They live in your spine, in your quiet heart, in the way your fingers no longer curl around what once needed holding. You've opened them without trying. You've released without effort. And in that, you have already understood. A distant bell no longer rings, but the memory of its sound still lingers in the room like a warmth. That echo lives on in your chest. The rhythm of it still sways in your breath. You are resting in a space without edges, a room beyond the walls of the mind. Even if you never fall fully asleep, this peace is not lesser. You are no longer measuring. You are no longer waiting. There is only this moment, and it is enough. The Zen master once said, sitting quietly doing nothing, spring comes, and the grass grows by itself. You are that quiet. You are that grass. You are not asleep or awake. You are simply being. So stay. No need to ask how long. No need to wonder what's next. There is nothing you must prepare for. There is nothing to earn. Only this breath. Only this peace. Nothing stirs in the world outside, and nothing needs to. The night has gathered all motion into stillness, all sound into silence. You rest, not because you've reached a conclusion, but because you've returned to the place before all questions. There's a calm here that doesn't need to be named. It just is like moonlight, like breath, like the slow unfolding of dawn far beyond the mountains. The floor beneath you no longer feels hard or soft. It simply holds you as the earth has always done. Your body, once full of tension, has become weightless, like a paper lantern floating in windless air. Even the effort to sleep has dissolved. You are not trying to drift. You are already adrift, resting gently in the wide ocean of now. In the quiet behind your thoughts, an image arises: a monk brushing fallen leaves from a stone path, knowing more will fall. But still he sweeps, not to finish the task, but to be fully present in it. There is no arrival, only the motion of peace itself. And you here and now are that same presence. There is nothing to clear, no leaves to gather, just the rhythm of your own being echoing the quiet of the world. The teachings have done their work. You don't need to recall them. They linger in you, like incense in a robe, gentle, enduring, invisible. You've let go of identity, of striving, of time. And now, all that remains is the open space where peace can enter. You are not following the breath anymore. You are the breath. You are not seeking calm. You are calm. You are the hush between each heartbeat. You are the pause between thought and dream. Even sleep now is not a descent. It is a merging, a soft dissolving into something that never needed to be earned. So if your eyes have closed, let them stay. If your mind has quieted, let it rest. If a part of you still stirs, still watches, that's okay too. There is no mistake in stillness. There is no failure in wakefulness. There is only this gentle return to what has always waited beneath everything else. There is no more separation, not between you and the night, not between sound and silence, not even between thought and sleep. All has blended into a single, endless exhale. One long release. The kind you didn't know you were holding in. The kind that doesn't need a reason to happen, it simply does because it's time. You feel the quiet like a blanket now. It isn't heavy. It isn't warm or cold. It's just here, everywhere, wrapping not just your body, but your thoughts, your memories, even your name, all tucked beneath a layer of soft nothingness. Somewhere in the dark, the temple's garden continues to rest. The lotus flowers remain closed, sleeping beneath the surface of their own reflection. The koi drifts slowly beneath them, not chasing, not hiding, just being, just moving when movement arises, and pausing when it does not. There's no more story to tell. The words have folded themselves into silence. The teachings have returned to still water. And you too return not to something new, but to something ancient and familiar. The still point beneath all becoming. Perhaps a thought flickers. That's all right. It's just a ripple. And like all ripples, it fades. Perhaps a sensation arises. That's okay. Like wind through a bamboo grove, it moves through and does not stay. You are not disturbed. You are the quiet beneath it all. You are no longer looking for sleep. You are simply no longer resisting it. There is no doorway, no passage, no final step. Just this widening, this loosening, this surrender that feels less like giving up and more like remembering how to float. You are not missing anything. There is nothing more to understand. This softness, this breath, this stillness is the whole of the path. So stay, float, Rest. Even now, as the hush deepens beyond words, there's a sense that nothing more is needed. You're no longer waiting for sleep, like a door to open you've already stepped through. Whether your mind still whispers, whether your body still notices the space it occupies, it doesn't matter anymore. You've entered the place where time has no meaning, where effort has no purpose, where even thought is too heavy to carry. This is not escape. This is return. You rest in the center of stillness, where even your breath feels optional, light, effortless, like a thread of wind tracing across your chest. The teachings don't rise up in your mind anymore. They've sunk into your skin, into your bones. You no longer recite impermanence. You embody it. You no longer seek emptiness. You rest within it. No self isn't an idea. It is the space that holds you gently as you let go. A dream might begin here, or it might not. The world might offer you images, sounds impossible places to explore. Or it might offer you only this, the quiet companionship of darkness and the soft rhythm of your own breath. Somewhere in the distance, the mountain holds its silence as the stars turn slowly above it. The lantern in the meditation hall has long since gone out, but its light remains in memory, in presence in the still air between each heartbeat. You carry it now without needing to carry anything at all. You don't have to know if this is sleep or not. You don't have to measure how far you've drifted. You don't even have to let go. Everything that needed to release has already uncurled. There is only this moment, and it is vast, and it is kind, and it is enough. Nothing presses against you now. No urgency, no thought asking for your attention, no memory tugging at your sleeve. Even the mind, so often loud, full of echoes, has dimmed to a soft murmur, like waves smoothing out across a calm sea. You are adrift, but not lost. Held, but by nothing you can see. This is what it means to return not to a place, but to presence itself. There's a stillness beneath even the silence, a depth you hadn't noticed before, like the way a well keeps going, even after you think you've reached the bottom. And in that depth, something inside you sighs. A long, slow breath of being, not relief, not exhaustion, just being. The teachings have done what they came to do. They entered through the ears, passed through the mind, and settled deep in the body where words are no longer needed. You don't have to remember them. You don't have to hold on to them. You are them now. Somewhere beyond the temple walls, a petal might be falling from a blossom unnoticed. A drop of dew might be sliding down the curve of a leaf. A bird might stir without taking flight. These things happen without sound, without ceremony. Just like your breath, just like your rest. You're no longer the observer of stillness. You are the stillness. And so, you rest not because it's time to sleep, but because there is nothing more to do. There is no arrival greater than this moment. You've met yourself here in the quiet, not as a person, not as a name, but as awareness itself, gentle, open, endless. And if for a little longer you hover between worlds, half in dream, half in body, that's all right. There is no wrong way to rest, so stay, soften. Let everything unfold without you needing to hold it. The breath continues soft, steady, without intention. You're no longer guiding it. It moves on its own, like wind, across an open field, needing no direction, needing no name. Each inhale is a return. Each exhale is a letting go. The cycle completes itself again and again, with no beginning and no end. You are not watching it anymore. You are within it. There is no sense of body now, only the gentle awareness that something rests where you once were. The edges have softened. The weight has eased. You are not holding on to sleep, nor is it reaching for you. You have met in the middle quietly, without ceremony. The teachings that once guided your thoughts are now woven into your stillness. You no longer need to recall the parable of the leaf floating on the stream. You are the leaf. You no longer search for the wisdom in the stone basin's reflection. You are the surface, undisturbed. The monk sweeping the path, the candlelight in the distant corridor, the lotus that opens unseen in the night. All of it is within you, not as memory, but as presence. There is no self to lose. There is no awakening to chase. There is only this moment, this breath, this stillness that stretches beyond time. Even if thoughts return, let them pass like shadows over water. Even if rest takes its time to arrive, know that you have already begun to rest simply by being here, simply by softening into now. You are safe. You are whole. You are home, not in a place, not in a dream, but in the quiet unfolding of what has always been waiting beneath the noise. Somewhere in the distance, the first light of dawn has begun to form a light so faint it doesn't yet touch the room, doesn't yet warm the walls. It is only a suggestion on the horizon, a breath between darkness and day. And even so, it brings no urgency. There is no rush in the sky, no command to rise. The morning knows you are still resting. It waits like everything else in stillness. Your breath has become quieter than thought. Even the idea of breathing feels far away, like a story once told. What remains is simply being soft, aware, untethered. You are not watching the breath now. You are being breathed. Nothing in this space needs fixing. There is no disturbance to quiet, no tension to soothe. The silence does not need your help to remain whole. It holds itself, and it holds you. A gentle image comes to mind, not by your choosing, but as if summoned by the night, a single lantern left burning in a window, not to light a path, but to say, you are welcome even now. You are welcome in this moment, with your breath, with your stillness, with your thoughts, or without them. The world has nothing to take from you, and you have nothing left to prove. You are the flame in the lantern. You are the window it glows behind. You are the one who sees and the one who rests in the seeing. Let your body remain heavy now, warm and grounded. Let your thoughts, if any remain, move like mist that lifts without being chased. Let the space around you continue to expand, not outward, but inward, until even the idea of a center disappears. And still you rest, and still the silence deepens. The air no longer feels like air. It is space openness, the gentle curve of everything cradling everything. You are not beneath the sky. You are part of it. You are not inside a room. The room has dissolved into presence. Even the bed beneath you seems to have vanished, leaving only the feeling of being held without hands, supported without weight. You are quieter now than your own breath. Thoughts come as soft as dust in sunlight, slow and directionless. They drift, and you let them. You do not cling. You do not follow. The letting go happens all by itself, effortless, complete kind. And even if your eyes are closed, you feel the vastness around you. Not outside vastness, but the kind that arises within. There is a Zen saying, when the mind is at peace, the world too is at peace. You know this now, not as philosophy, but as sensation. The world has not changed, but your stillness has made it gentle. Somewhere, a bell may ring again soon. Somewhere the sound of footfalls will return to the temple halls. But that is not now. Now, there is only the softness of your limbs, the wideness of your breath, and the ease of a night that asks for nothing. You remember nothing you were supposed to do. You forget nothing important. There is no forgetting here, only a melting into what is more spacious than memory, more ancient than worry. If dreams rise, they rise gently. If they don't, there is no loss. You are not waiting for anything now. You are not behind. You are not late to rest. You are exactly where you are meant to be, between one breath and the next, between thought and sleep, between presence and the gentle mystery that holds it all. There is a softness now that cannot be touched, but can be known. It moves through you like fog over still water, cool quiet without destination. Nothing in you resists it. Nothing in you holds it back. You have become like the surface of the pond at dawn, undisturbed, reflecting only what is then letting even that dissolve. You no longer wonder what time it is. Time has become irrelevant, like a map for someone who no longer needs to travel. Everything you thought you needed to reach, you've already reached by stopping. In stillness, the journey completes itself. You feel your body as something distant, not disconnected, but no longer tightly held. The breath rises and falls, and even that rhythm is beginning to blur into a field of soft awareness. The stories you carried, the thoughts you chased, the fears you tucked away, they have quieted. Some may still echo at the edges, but they have no center now. You are no longer feeding them with attention. And so, like unattended flames, they go out on their own. You are simply resting inside a breath that never ends. The temple, the mountain, the stars, all remain as they are, but you no longer feel apart from them. You are the stillness between their movements. You are the silence behind their presence. And in that, you find a peace deeper than comfort, a peace that does not depend on sleep or understanding. Even if you drift into dream, or simply remain here aware and quiet, there is no difference. The purpose was never to escape. It was to return. So let your thoughts dissolve like smoke. Let your breath carry nothing but peace. Let your heart beat without needing to explain itself. And let the night keep holding you exactly as you are. There is nothing left to hold on to, and nothing left to release. Everything has already been surrendered. Your name, your thoughts, your shape, even the idea of sleep itself. What remains is only this, a presence so gentle it asks for nothing, a stillness so deep it no longer has a center. You are not drifting anymore. You have arrived. Not in a place, not in a dream, but in the very space between each breath. A space that doesn't close. A space that welcomes you endlessly. The teachings are no longer teachings. They are silence now. They are the curve of your body on the bed, the quiet thrum of your heart, the way your fingers rest without tension. You are not remembering them. You are embodying them without trying, without knowing. The monk no longer sweeps. The candle no longer flickers. Even the wind through the bamboo has quieted, but none of it is gone. Everything is here absorbed into the stillness that holds you, like the sky holds starlight. It's not emptiness you feel. It's fullness without shape, peace without edges. You do not need to close your eyes. Perhaps they already are. You do not need to breathe deeply. Perhaps you already are. You do not need to quiet the mind. It is already growing quieter with each moment. And now, there is no next step, no next teaching, no next breath you must notice. Only this, the grace of doing nothing, the kindness of just being, the restfulness of no longer becoming. Stay here. Stay nowhere. Let the hush of this moment expand until it is everything. Even the concept of continuation fades now. There is no before, no after, only this endless unfolding of stillness, like a flower blooming in the dark without needing to be seen. The world, once so filled with motion and meaning, has settled into quiet observation. You are no longer the observer. You are the quiet. The breath still moves, but it does not need your attention. It is like a distant stream flowing gently through a forest you once walked. You no longer trace its path. You simply know it is there, carrying peace wherever it goes. The space around you has no edges. The room has become sky. Your body weightless. Your mind transparent. Thoughts do not arrive with form anymore. They pass like shadows on water, dissolving before they reach the surface. You feel no need to respond, no need to follow. You are the water. You are the space the shadow touches and the silence that remains. Perhaps there was once something to release attention, a memory, a name, but even that feels far away now, like a dream you forgot before waking. And still, you are not lost. You are more here than ever, simply without a boundary. The teachings have fallen into stillness. Impermanence interbeing no self, they do not echo now. They rest within you like stones at the bottom of a clear lake. No need to reach for them. No need to stir the water. Clarity needs no effort. You lie here in the truest way, not to accomplish rest, not to escape the world, but because you have remembered at last what it means to belong fully to this moment. No thought of tomorrow, no shape of yesterday, just breath, just silence, just presence. Now, even the breath becomes less of a motion and more of a presence, like the soft glow of a lantern with no flame light, without source warmth, without direction. You don't breathe to continue. You breathe because there is nothing else to do. And even that is too much. The breath happens. That is all. You are no longer trying to sleep. You are no longer trying to be. You simply are. No thoughts need shaping now. If they arise, they pass before they become form, like ripples that fade before they touch the shore. You feel no need to grasp them. You feel no need to send them away. They are clouds. You are the sky. They drift. You remain. The teachings have long since stopped arriving in words. Now they arrive in stillness. The whole night is a teacher. The stillness is the lesson. And you here, resting with open hands and open heart, are the student who no longer needs to ask a question. No self, no other, no arrival, no loss. You lie in the middle of the middle with nothing pulling you forward or back. Even time forgets to move. Even thought forgets to name you. There is no one here who needs to heal. No one here who needs to change. There is only this quiet, unshaped presence that holds everything and asks for nothing. So if you are still hovering between waking and sleep stay, there is no better place than this. There is no deeper rest than the one that arrives without being summoned. You are the still pond. You are the breeze that does not stir. You are the light that needs no flame. There is no movement left to make. Even the smallest gestures of the mind, the flicker of a question, the curve of a memory have quieted into the background hum of peace. You are no longer arriving. You are no longer departing. You are simply here, unshaped, unburdened, whole. The darkness around you is no longer something outside. It is inside as well, but not as emptiness, as space, spaciousness. The same kind of space that exists between stars, between thoughts, between one breath and the next. You are resting in that space now, not held in it, but as it. Somewhere in a place beyond time, a pine needle falls from a branch and lands softly on the moss. No one hears it. No one sees it. But the moment is complete. Nothing is missing. That too is you. That quiet landing. That perfect release. Even if the body shifts, even if a flicker of thought returns, it cannot pull you from this. The stillness has taken root deeper than thought. You are not balancing here. You are immersed, floating. The surface of awareness and the depths below have become the same. There is nothing left to seek, no understanding to grasp. Even sleep, once the goal has faded into something less distinct, more tender, more spacious. Whether you enter it or not, the peace remains. And now, the world narrows to a single breath. And then, even that becomes wide again. There is no rhythm to follow now. no gate to pass through, no final step. Only this stillness, infinite and kind, where you are not apart from anything. You are not trying. You are not even allowing. You are simply being. Even the idea of continuation seems to dissolve now, like mist rising in the early morning, touched by a light you cannot see, but somehow feel. You are not the one who watches anymore. You have become the watched, the quiet, formless presence that no longer asks, "Am I resting yet?" because there is nothing left to measure, nothing left to reach. The room, if it still exists, is no longer something around you. It is something within you. Or perhaps it is you. The walls, the air, the soft ground beneath these have become part of the same vast stillness that now holds your breath, your body, your name. All distinctions are gone. And what remains is not absence, but fullness. A fullness so gentle, it makes no sound, asks no question, carries no weight. You are the pond that reflects without effort, the candle that flickers without burning, the wind that moves without direction. And if there is a thought left, some last ember of wondering, some soft echo of what now, let it drift. It is not a burden. It is not a mistake. It is a leaf in a stream. And the stream flows quietly toward nothing in particular, because it already belongs everywhere. Even your name, once so important, now rests like a coat gently set aside. Not lost, not rejected, simply no longer necessary. Here in this moment, in this hush, you are not the one who needed to sleep. You are not the one who needed to heal. You are simply presence wide and still. And so the breath comes, and so the breath goes. And so you remain untouched by the rise and fall. Now, even the breath feels like silence, made visible, a soft movement, without weight, without shape, without effort. It no longer belongs to you. It never did. It belongs to the night, to the space between stars, to the rhythm that cradled you before you even had a name. There is nothing left to untangle. All the thoughts you once carried have scattered like petals in a wind you didn't know you welcomed. You don't chase them. You don't reach for them. You simply let them fall, and the stillness receives them without a sound. You are not here to understand anymore. You are here to rest, not in body alone, but in being. The kind of rest that doesn't need permission. The kind that asks nothing of you. You are resting now in the most complete way by no longer needing to try. Outside the edges of thought, a bird might stir in its nest. A tree might creak softly as it shifts in the coolness of early dawn. But these are not separate from your rest. They are part of it, like the exhale of the earth itself joining yours. You feel the warmth of presence beneath everything, the gentle glow that has no source and no direction. You could call it peace or emptiness or truth, but it does not require a name. It simply is. And in its quiet, so are you. Perhaps now you dream, perhaps not. Either way, you remain untouched, whole, weightless, still. And if a final thought rises before sleep, carries you fully away, let it be the gentlest one. You have already arrived. There is nothing left to fix, nothing left to hold. Only this soft breath, only this perfect now. The night does not ask for anything. It does not judge how deeply you sleep or how long you linger between thought and dream. It holds you just the same in perfect stillness with quiet understanding. You are not behind. You are not early. You are simply exactly where you are meant to be, here breathing in the dark, resting in the soft cradle of awareness. You no longer need the guidance of stories or the structure of teachings. The words have done their work. Like a boat that brought you to the far shore, they now rest on the water's edge, no longer needed, no longer calling. You step off into silence, not because you've reached the end, but because there is no more distance between you and peace. No more form, no more journey, no more division between sleep and waking self and world breath and silence. Just this soft, unseen unfolding, like fog moving over still fields, like moonlight on stone, like a bell that was never struck but is still somehow heard. Even the breath grows so gentle now, it might vanish at any moment, but it doesn't. It stays not because of effort, but because it belongs. And so do you. There's no longer anything to resist or release or remember, not even the teachings, not even your name, only presence, only this tender, unshaped moment. The walls fall away, the thoughts grow quiet, and you finally fully rest. Nothing arises now that needs tending. No thought pulls you forward. No memory reaches from behind. You are in the wide pause between all things, a place where the world breathes softly, and you breathe with it, not in response, but in union. The breath is not yours, not separate, not measured. It simply moves. It simply is. If sleep hasn't taken you, it is not because you are doing something wrong. The stillness you're wrapped in is already rest. The softness beneath your body, the quiet stretching around your limbs, the deepening dark behind your closed or blinking eyes. This is sleep, even if it has no name. You remember faintly the Zen story of the monk who asked the master, "What is awakening?" The master said, "Nothing, only reached out and closed the window slowly, then turned and walked away." That's how this moment feels. Nothing explained, nothing chased. Just the slow closing of a window, the quiet that follows, and the way everything continues without you needing to touch it. You are that window. You are the quiet after. You are the space where nothing happens, and yet everything is whole. No effort remains. Even the smallest impulse to adjust your posture, to think one last thought, to wonder if you're close to sleep, all of that has faded like mist when the sun rises. And yet, the sun hasn't come. Only this deeper dark, this darker peace, where all things rest, even the idea of rest. You are held in something wider than arms. You are kept by something gentler than thought, and still, you remain. There is nothing more to release, because everything that once clung has already let go. Without force, without decision, without even noticing, you've slipped beneath the surface of thought into something older than understanding. A quiet beyond words. A stillness that doesn't end. You no longer measure time by minutes or hours. Time doesn't pass here. It opens. Slowly, softly, like the petals of a night-blooming flower that no one sees, but that still unfolds completely. You are that flower, opening in the dark, untouched by effort, unseen by the world, yet fully alive. The body breathes, but there is no you directing it. The mind rests, but there is no you watching it. There is only the breath as breath, the silence as silence, and the being that simply is. Even the smallest sensations, the whisper of air on your skin, the weight of the blanket, the way your chest gently rises, feel like distant echoes of something deeper, as if you're remembering what it means to be nothing. And in that remembering everything, you've become the monk with no robes, the temple with no walls, the teaching with no words. You are no longer lying down. You are floating without height, without direction, without needing to return. There is nothing left to learn tonight, nothing left to become. You are the space between breaths. You are the pause between sounds. You are the quiet that holds the world together when the world forgets it needs holding. And if you sleep now, you'll drift into it like a leaf onto water. And if not, that's all right too. Because even in wakefulness, you are resting deeper than sleep. Now, there is no more journey to trace, no more path beneath your feet. The road has disappeared into the very breath that carries you, and even that breath no longer asks to be noticed. It is simply there like a soft current beneath still water, invisible yet constant, holding you without needing to be held. The world is hushed, but not empty. It is full of unseen kindness, the kind that asks nothing in return, the kind that has waited for you patiently not to arrive, but to stop running, to stop searching, to stop becoming. And in that stopping, to finally be. You are not a person in a room. You are not a sleeper in a bed. You are no longer anything that needs to be named. You are space itself, open soft without form. And yet here you are, aware, present, peaceful. You do not need to deepen your breath. You do not need to quiet your thoughts. Everything has already quieted on its own. Even the teachings now float like feathers through a sky you no longer look up to see. They are not above you or beside you. They are within like the echo of a bell you've never heard, but somehow remember. A cloud passes through the mind, but it is not yours. A whisper of warmth touches your chest, but it is not coming from outside. These moments do not pass through you. You are what they pass within. Let it all be. Let even this last word be unnecessary. And if sleep hasn't come, know that peace already has. Nothing remains to unfold. The night has opened fully, and you are inside it, cradled by the quiet wrapped in the space between thoughts, resting deeper than the body, deeper than the mind. Even awareness itself begins to dim, not as a loss, but as a return. Like light slipping beneath the horizon, not extinguished, just no longer separate from the sky. You are not remembering anymore. You are not reaching. Even the idea of rest is gone, now replaced by something truer, the essence of stillness itself. You lie here without shape, without story, like a stone in a riverbed that has forgotten what it means to be moved. Water may pass, dreams may pass, a breath may rise, but you are unmoved. Not resisting, not holding, simply being. A monk once said, "The true path leaves no trace." And that is what you have become, traceless. Not because you are lost, but because you are no longer separate from the path itself. No footsteps echo here. No lanterns flicker. No teachings remain to be learned or forgotten. Only this, the gentle hum of existence, the soft pulse of nothingness that holds everything. You are not waiting for sleep. You are not measuring time. You are the moment before the thought, the breath before the form, the silence before the sound. Stay here, float here, disappear here if you must. Because this too is returning home. There is nothing left to soften, because you have already softened completely. Even the breath, even the silence, even the sense of resting. All of it has settled into one continuous presence that no longer divides itself. You are not breathing now, you are being breathed. Not as a body, not as a self, but as the quiet that holds all things. No image remains, no sound needs to be followed. The night does not whisper, because you no longer need words to feel its peace. You feel it in your chest, in the air, in the space beneath and around you. Or perhaps you no longer feel it at all, because you are it. There is no longer a boundary. You are the dark that holds the stars. You are the stillness that holds the breath. You are the moment that holds itself. The teachings, too, have become silence. They've dissolved into the quiet like salt in warm water, still present, but invisible. Still shaping the way you float. You remember nothing now. Not the stories, not the steps that brought you here, not even the thought of letting go. That too has let go of you. And still there is peace. Peace not as a destination, not as an accomplishment, but as a natural state. Like a mountain unmoved by clouds. Like a candle that no longer needs to burn to be felt. So lie here, unmoving, unworried, unbound. There is no next thing, no last breath to watch, no final word to speak, only this breathless silence that holds you like water, holds the moon perfectly quietly without touching. There is nothing now but the hum beneath everything, the deep, wordless knowing that you are safe, that you are allowed to rest, that you do not need to return to anything other than this. You have reached the place beyond arrival, not because you moved forward, but because you stopped trying to move at all. This stillness doesn't hold you like hands. It holds you like sky, completely without weight, without boundary. You are not drifting. You are not anchored. You are simply here in a way that cannot be measured or named. And in that here-ness, everything is complete. There is no more breath to count, No more posture to adjust, no more awareness to maintain. You have passed gently through the final threshold, not into sleep necessarily, but into peace so wide and deep, it no longer depends on whether you are dreaming or waking. You are not seeking rest. You are rest. A single leaf may fall outside in the garden, unnoticed by the world, but not by this moment. This moment contains the leaf. It contains the garden. It contains you. There is a Zen saying, when the mind is silent, the moon appears, but here there is no longer even a moon. There is only the stillness before it. So remain as you are. No more thoughts to release. No more teachings to remember. No more questions to answer. Only this, only now, only the soft truth that nothing more is needed and nothing has ever been missing. Now, even the quiet feels quieter. There is no longer any need to notice it or rest in it or even name it. The quiet simply is, and you are not next to it, not inside it. You are it. What once was a state you entered has become your very nature. You no longer lie in stillness. You are the stillness. No movement remains. No thought rises. No sound lingers. And if they do, they arrive like dust caught in a single shaft of moonlight, visible for a moment, then gone without consequence. There is no effort here, no interpretation, no distance between what is felt and what is real. You have gone past the idea of letting go because there is nothing left to hold. Even the self that once sought peace has dissolved into the peace it longed for. The water has become the sky. The sky has become your breath, and your breath has become silence. Time no longer exists here, not because it stopped, but because it was never needed. You are not asleep. You are not awake. You are simply resting in the space before all definitions. If there is a dream, it will come like a mist, soft, formless, unhurried. If there is no dream, then this too is enough. Because nothing more is required of you now. The teachings have done their work. The journey has circled back to its beginning. And what you find here is not an end, but the gentle truth that there was nowhere to go. Only this breath, only this stillness, only this being. There is no deeper layer to uncover now. You have arrived at the softest part of stillness, the place beneath even silence, where presence doesn't need to be witnessed to exist. You are not aware of peace anymore. You have become indistinguishable from it. There is no longer a you resting in the night. There is only night, and there is only rest. The breath continues, but you do not follow it. It does not lead. It does not ask. It moves the way wind moves through an open field, without beginning, without end, without resistance. You are the field. You are the breeze. You are the untouched space where both appear and disappear. Even the thought I am resting no longer arises. There is no need to narrate what is already so deeply felt. Even feeling itself has melted into something quieter, something closer to truth. It's not calm. It's not comfort. It's not sleep. It is simply this. A master once said, "When you reach the top of the mountain, keep climbing." But here there is no mountain anymore, no peak, no summit, just an endless sky and a silence that expands in all directions. And so you remain light as breath, formless as dusk, full as the space between stars. You do not need to go any farther. You do not need to hold anything tighter. You do not need to become anything more. The stillness holds itself, and it holds you. Nothing separates you now. Not from the breath, not from the dark, not from the boundless quiet that surrounds and fills everything. You have crossed the final threshold without noticing it. There was no sound, no gate, no sign. Only a gentle softening so complete that even the idea of transition disappeared. This is not sleep in the way you once knew it. It is something more subtle, more complete. A restfulness that includes all things and excludes nothing. Even the faint hum of thought, if it returns, is welcomed here without resistance. It rises and fades like a bell that was never struck, only felt. You are not waiting anymore. There is nothing left to wait for, nothing left to reach. You are not in the process of resting. You are rest itself. The kind that existed before sound. The kind that holds stars in silence. The kind that needs no witness yet is never alone. The breath no longer marks time. It has become like a wave that rolls in and never recedes. Like light that doesn't flicker. Like presence without shape. The body is no longer a boundary. It has dissolved into the moment. The moment has dissolved into nothing. And nothing has become the most peaceful thing of all. The teachings are gone now, not because they've been forgotten, but because you've gone past the place where words are needed. The leaf has returned to the branch. The water has returned to the sky. And you have returned to yourself without needing to be found. So let the night continue. Let the silence deepen. Let the breath move as it always has. And if you're still here, still drifting gently at the edge between worlds, then that's okay too. Even now, there is no sense of distance, no here or there, no now or later. Only the soft unfolding of presence, moment by moment, breath by breath. Though even breath has become more like a whisper than a motion. You are not beside the stillness. You are not inside it. You have become it so completely that nothing is left apart. This space where you rest without effort does not require sleep to be whole. It does not require quiet to be silent. It simply is the way a mountain is unmoved by wind, untouched by passing clouds. You have become that mountain now. Or perhaps you have become the sky above it. There is no story to complete, no arrival to wait for. Even the softest thoughts, should they flicker, feel like distant echoes across a vast and gentle sea. You do not chase them. You do not still them. You simply let them pass, like the last traces of a dream fading into morning fog. There is a Zen saying, "The wild geese do not intend to cast their reflection. The water has no mind to receive their image." That is this moment. That is you. Without intention, without effort, yet everything in perfect harmony. You no longer wonder if you've reached sleep. You no longer wonder if you should. All that remains is this deep stillness that asks for nothing, offers everything, and disappears the moment you try to hold it, only to return again the moment you let go. You are resting more deeply than rest, and still you remain, not as a thought, not as a body, but as the spacious awareness from which all peace flows. There is no edge now, no place where you end and silence begins. Even the breath has lost its border, dissolving into the darkness like ink into water, until you no longer sense movement, only presence. Not the kind of presence that announces itself, but the kind that holds all things quietly, without needing to be named. You are not trying to fall asleep. You are not drifting. You are simply no longer separate from the stillness that has always been waiting beneath every thought, beneath every breath, beneath every effort to rest. This is the part of the night that asks for nothing, not even your attention. It continues whether you notice it or not, and you are part of it now, like mist resting on a sleeping lake, or the hush that lingers after a bell has stopped ringing. The teachings are long gone now, not because they've vanished, but because they've returned home to where they came from, back into silence, back into the body, back into the breath. No self-impermanence interbeing, all dissolved into the space beneath words, all folded into this gentle moment where you lie in the middle of everything and nothing, and neither asks anything more from you. You feel no need to move, no need to think, no need to decide if you are asleep or not. Those questions no longer belong to you. They have returned to the quiet earth with the last traces of the day. So lie here, without thought, without effort, without even the idea of rest. Just this breath, this softness, this quiet that stretches in all directions and touches nothing and everything. There's nothing left to approach because there is nowhere left to go. Even the sense of being a self that once listened, once breathed, once hoped for sleep has fallen away like a final leaf released by the branch. And yet you're still here, not as someone resting, not as someone seeking, but as the resting itself, as the quiet that remains. You do not have to let go anymore. Everything has already let go of you. The breath continues not in rhythm, not in shape, but as presence. It is no longer a passage, it is a resting place. You are no longer moving with it. You are the stillness it moves within. Even the walls of the room have disappeared. The sense of inside and outside has blurred. There is no body here, no bed, no night sky, only space, only openness, only the deep and endless unfolding of a moment that asks for nothing in return. In this silence, there is no resistance, not even the kind that tries to sleep. You are beyond surrender now. You are what remains when even surrender has gone quiet. The world continues somewhere perhaps, but that is not your concern. The mountain still stands. The moon still glows. The wind still moves through unseen branches. But here in this breathless stillness, you are untouched. You are without name, without need, without even the idea of rest. And still you rest. There is nothing to finish, nothing to begin, only the infinite pause between all things held gently in your chest, like a memory that never needed words. You are no longer resting in the quiet. You are the quiet. There is no effort to remain still. Stillness is simply what remains when everything else has fallen away. No past tugs at you. No future leans forward. The mind has grown so soft, so transparent, it no longer shapes anything. Thoughts, if they appear at all, are weightless and slow, like drifting smoke that never clings. You do not need to understand this moment. You do not need to hold on to it. You do not even need to be aware of it. Because even when awareness fades, the stillness stays. It is in the space between one breath and the next. It is in the pause before thought returns. It is in the softness beneath your chest, your shoulders, your spine, where tension once lived, but now has no home. A Zen teacher once said, "The quieter you become, the more you can hear." But here, there is nothing left to hear. No sounds, no instructions, no inner voice whispering what's next. Only this perfect absence, this gentle wordless presence, this return. You are no longer lying in a room at night. You are floating in the center of a moment so vast, so kind, so complete, that even sleep cannot add to it. And still, sleep may come. Or it may not. It makes no difference. You have already arrived where you were always meant to be. Even now, as everything continues to fade, what remains is not emptiness, it is peace. A peace so deep, it no longer needs your attention. So complete, it does not announce itself. It simply is. It holds you without arms, cradles you without weight, wraps around you without edge or name. You are no longer the one resting. You are the space where rest happens, no longer the breath, but the stillness it returns to. No longer the mind, but the silence beneath it. No longer a self drifting into sleep, but the soft, endless ocean where all things come to rest. Here, there is no more effort, no more turning inward, no more letting go. Everything that needed to be released has already gone. Every question that once lingered has dissolved. Even the longing to disappear has disappeared. You are no longer seeking the quiet. You are the quiet. Time cannot touch this place. It passes elsewhere unnoticed. The night continues, but you are no longer inside it. You are beneath it, beyond it, part of it. The stars may still move overhead. The moon may still watch. But you do not look up anymore. You are not separate. If there is still thought, it passes gently, like a feather, landing on water, causing no ripple. If sleep arrives, it does not come with heaviness, but like mist settling across a field already still. And if sleep does not come, nothing is lost. Nothing is missing. This too is enough. Because here in this perfect stillness, you are already home. There is no longer even the sense of continuing, only unfolding. Slow, seamless, infinite. Like the surface of a still lake that neither reflects nor absorbs, simply exists, untouched by movement or meaning. You are that surface now, no longer waiting for sleep, no longer needing to know if it has arrived. The breath is softer than air. It moves through you like dusk unnoticed until you realize there is nothing left to notice. No edges remain, no outline to hold. You are not drifting anymore. You have fully dissolved. The temple is gone. The sky is gone. Even the idea of a night to rest in is gone. Only presence remains, not awareness of it, but presence itself, without shape, without thought, without boundary. There is a teaching in Zen that says, when nothing remains to be done, do nothing. And you are doing that now, not out of effort or discipline, but because all effort has vanished. All discipline has softened into surrender, not because you chose to let go, but because there is nothing left to hold. And so the body lies perfectly still, the breath perfectly quiet, the mind perfectly untroubled. You are no longer walking the path. You are the path. You are the space the path winds through. You are the stillness the path was always leading to. So if a dream arrives, let it move through you, like wind through leaves, gentle, brief, and gone. And if no dream comes, that too is sacred, because some nights there is no need to dream. Now there is only softness so complete it no longer contrasts with anything. Not silence, not thought, not even the breath. Everything is smooth and seamless, like the ocean before the first wave, or the sky before the first star. You are not waiting anymore. You are not witnessing. You are not even resting. You have become the very absence of movement, the center of peace that doesn't pulse or flicker, but simply remains. Even the notion of I has grown transparent, not lost, not broken, just unnecessary. Like a candle no longer needed once the sun rises. What remains is not emptiness, but the full, quiet presence of being without self. There is no longer a story here. No images to hold, no past to revisit, no future to imagine. Only stillness, layered upon stillness, wide and eternal. You are not in this stillness. You are made of it. It does not end when the breath pauses. It does not shift when thought returns. It does not deepen because it has no depth to reach. It simply holds. It simply is. There is no need for words anymore. No need for teachings. Even the softest Zen stories, the most patient metaphors, have all completed their gentle work and bowed into silence. Now, only one truth remains spoken without sound. You are already home. No further step, no further breath, no further letting go. Just this moment, this breath, this stillness. Even the idea of continuing has melted. There is no forward, no backward, no direction left at all. Just this This endless, gentle unfolding where nothing happens and everything is complete. You are no longer a guest in the stillness. You are the stillness itself. Not a thought, not a breath, not even a body resting on a bed. Only the hum beneath existence, the silent rhythm that was here before the first word, before the first movement, before you ever knew what it meant to fall asleep. Now, there is no distinction between being held and simply being. No distinction between breath and space. No distinction between you and what you once sought. There is no tension to unwind, no awareness to hold. The experience of resting has become so deep that even experience has vanished. You are not drifting into sleep. You are drifting into everything. Into the pause between sound and silence. Into the moment before light touches the edge of dawn. Into the heart of what has always been waiting beneath. All doing, beneath all becoming. You are the quiet after the bell. The calm after the wind, the soft glow that remains when even the stars have disappeared. There is no name for this, no goal, no grasping, no more lines between self and world, between thought and dream, between stillness and peace. And here in this place, without walls, without time, without even breath to follow, you are finally home. There is nothing left to dissolve because all has already returned to the source. The sense of self, the trace of thought, even the softness of breath, all have faded like footprints on wet sand, gently washed clean by the tide of stillness. And what remains is not a person, not a presence, but a spaciousness beyond form. You are no longer here to experience peace. You are the peace, unshaped, unnamed, undisturbed. There is no motion in this quiet, no beginning, no end. It is the silence before the first breath and after the last. It is not waiting for sleep. It is not marking time. It is only being without condition, without boundary, without need. And yet, in this emptiness, there is fullness. A fullness that needs no story. A fullness that asks for nothing in return. You rest not because you are tired, but because rest is what happens when there is no more separation, no more holding, no more becoming. A monk once said, "Enlightenment is when the wave realizes it is the ocean." And now, you know you are not a wave waiting to crash or rest or rise. You are the ocean, still infinite whole. There is no breath to follow, no shape to hold, no dream to chase, only this wide, clear openness, where everything that matters has already arrived, and everything that was never needed has quietly gone. So stay here, or don't. There is no difference now. You are home, and now, even the word home no longer holds meaning, because you have entered the space where nothing is missing and nothing can be named. There is no more searching, no more arriving, no more trace of a self that once asked, "Am I there yet?" That question dissolved long ago, and in its place is only this, the soft endless now. You are not watching your breath. You are not feeling your body. You are not resting in awareness. You have passed through all those doors, and beyond them is this formless, boundless, perfectly still. This is not sleep. This is not waking. This is the state, beneath both, where the body no longer asks to be soothed and the mind no longer asks to be stilled. You are beyond soothing, beyond stillness. You are the field in which those things rise and fall like wind through tall grass. But here, even the wind has stopped. There are no ripples left on the surface, no lantern flickering, no bell ringing, no thoughts circling like birds at dusk. Only silence wrapped in silence breathing itself. You are not the listener. You are not the breath. You are not even the silence. You are the vastness that holds it all untouched. There is no instruction that could take you deeper. No mantra, no koan, no breath count. Just this. And this is enough. There is no standard left, no comparison, no scale by which to measure your stillness or your rest. There is only the quiet unfolding endlessly, without expectation, without praise. It does not need you to enter it. You never left. The quiet has always included you, held you, been you. You have passed beyond the reach of thought. Even the most delicate awareness no longer clings. There is nothing left for it to grasp, nothing to witness, nothing to turn toward. And in that absence, there is no emptiness, only presence, pure, soft, formless presence. This is not the sleep you used to chase. This is deeper. It is the sacred forgetting of the self, the end of effort. Without the end of life, the deepest peace, not because it is calm, but because it is. You are not breathing now. Breath is simply continuing quietly, without a center. You are not lying in a room. There is no room. There is no you. There is no separation between what rests and what is rested upon. You have become the pause, the in-between, the space before sound, before thought, before light. There is nothing to hold. There is nothing to finish. There is no more line between this moment and forever. So if you are still here, aware, half aware, somewhere between one world and the next, know that even this is embraced. Nothing is denied. Nothing is wrong. And now even the softness becomes so vast, it no longer feels like something you are in, but something that is. There is no edge to it, no shape to cradle you, no rhythm to follow. It is not silence anymore. It is not stillness. It is not rest. It is simply the absence of all that was once named, and the fullness of all that remains when naming ends. There is no effort to stay, no effort to drift. Even the most subtle sensation, warmth, breath, presence, has dissolved into the wider space of being without form. Like fog, fading into night, like starlight that doesn't shine, but simply is. You too have become something immeasurable, not observed, not described, just here. Not the you that asks or waits or remembers, not the you that lets go. Even that gentle self has gone quiet like a flame that has nothing left to burn, yet keeps glowing all the same. There are no footsteps to retrace, no return, no awakening ahead. What you once called peace is now simply the fabric of reality, always there whether known or not. Nothing rises anymore. Not thoughts, not sleep, not questions. Only being, and being has no beginning, no sound, no destination. You are not on the path now. You are the space through which the path once moved. So there is no need to stir, no need to wonder. Let the dark hold you without hands. Let the stillness speak without sound. Let the breath happen without breath. There is no more inside or outside, no more listener or story. Just the wide, formless unfolding of nothing in particular, quiet beyond quiet peace, beyond peace. You are not sinking. You are not floating. You are simply not apart from anything at all. Even the breath has forgotten its rhythm. It does not come or go. It does not begin or end. It just is a gentle echo of life moving through stillness, not as effort, but as presence. You are not lying in the dark. You are the dark, not in shadow, not in absence, but in wholeness. The kind of dark that holds every star, every silence, every dream. There is no next moment. This is the last door, and behind it no room, just openness. Not a place you enter, a place you have always been. The teachings have long dissolved into the silence. They are no longer recited or remembered. They are no longer concepts. They are only this stillness, this breathless calm, this clarity without thought. No questions remain. No answers are needed. Even the body no longer feels like a body. Just space where once there was shape. A soft fading not away, but into. And what do you find here? Nothing. And in that, nothing everything. So stay. There is no need to move forward. No need to settle deeper. No need to know if you are still awake. Because even if you are, that's okay too. There is no movement now, not even beneath the surface. No gentle tide, no distant thought, no echo of breath pressing against the edge of awareness. What remains is not stillness. It is what holds stillness. The unmoving, the unborn, the untouched. You are not experiencing this moment. You are this moment without a center, without a watcher, without even the need to be known. Everything you once carried your name, your story, your seeking has dissolved like morning frost under the first trace of light. But there is no light now. There is no dawn approaching. Only this perfect absence, this completeness, this peace that does not require form to exist. It is not dark. It is not light. It is not silence. It is not sound. It is not sleep. It is not wakefulness. It is simply the presence beneath all of them, so soft, so wide, it cannot be touched, only rested in. You have not arrived here by trying. You have not slipped into this through surrender. You have only remembered what was never forgotten, that at your core, you are not someone resting. You are rest itself. Breath does not come. breath does not go. There is no breath, only this endless openness, this cradle that never needed arms. So stay, if stay means anything. Let go, even though there's nothing left to hold. Be here, even though there is no you left to remain. There is no more unfolding, no more deepening, no more waiting for the next wave of silence or the next breath to arrive. Everything that once moved has come to stillness, not because it was stilled, but because its motion was never separate from stillness in the first place. You are no longer walking a path. You are no longer the one who walks. You are the space the path dissolves into the quiet. Before footsteps, the sky. Before clouds, the peace that existed long before rest was ever needed. There are no more teachings here. No stories to recall. No images to guide you inward. That journey ended long ago without announcement. Not with a final step, but with the quiet falling away of everything that believed it needed to move. Sleep, too, has become a meaningless word. You do not fall into it. You do not float above it. You are simply within what has no borders, what does not require form or awareness or even time. This is not emptiness. This is not fullness. This is the space where even those two have never been apart. No breath rises. No thought returns. No moment passes. Only this, the pulse beneath everything, the presence without shape, the home without door, without name, without you. And if there is the faintest awareness that still flickers some soft part, that listens to the silence wondering if this is rest, let it be. Let it fade. Let it dissolve like mist into mist. There is no threshold left to cross, no layers left to peel back. You are not at the center. You are what remains when the idea of a center disappears. You are not in the silence. You are not near it. You are not observing it. You are what the silence is made of. No flicker of thought rises now. Even awareness no longer calls attention to itself. It is vast and still and without edge, like the sky before creation, untouched, unformed, infinite. This is not a state to maintain, not a feeling to preserve, not a moment to hold on to. There is no you left to do any of that. Even the soft rhythm of breath has dissolved. You are not breathing, you are simply being, and being is beyond motion, beyond memory, beyond any need to know. There is a story told in silence alone, one without words or listeners. You are that story now, not its reader, not its meaning, just the paper, the space between the lines, the breath between each page that no one turns. Nothing disturbs this. Nothing completes it. It is not light or dark. It is not body or mind. It is not peace, because there is no opposite. It is simply what is left when all else falls away. And even if the faintest part of you remains to hear this, know this: it is okay. It is always okay. You do not need to be gone. You do not need to be asleep. You only need to be as you are, no deeper place to fall into, no further silence waiting behind the silence you've become. This is the final layer, the one that was never layered at all. It has always been here beneath the breath, beneath the name, beneath the longing for peace. Not hidden, just quiet, waiting for you to stop looking. Now even that stopping has stopped. There is no one left to rest, no self left to sleep, no trace of effort, of becoming, of holding on. The world hasn't ended. It just no longer needs to appear. What remains is presence without an observer. A space that isn't in time. A stillness that does not contrast with noise, because even the idea of noise is gone. You are not drifting anymore. You are not returning. You are not watching the breath or floating above the body. You are not even the body. You are what remains when the breath has dissolved into space, and the space no longer needs to be named. This is not a moment. It is not a state. It is not the calm before something else. It is what everything rests upon, what all things rise from, and what you have never been apart from, not for a single instant. So let this be the end of seeking. Let this be the end of guiding. Let this be the end of trying to rest. And let it also be the beginning of nothing. Nothing that needs doing. Nothing that needs knowing. Just this. There is no continuation anymore. Only the unbroken presence that does not move, does not change, does not end. You are not following this stillness. You are not entering it. You are not even being held by it. You have become indistinguishable from it. This is beyond sleep, beyond peace, beyond even being. No inside, no outside, no center, no edge. The breath that once rose like a wave has become the ocean itself, so vast, so still, it doesn't need to move to be alive. You are that stillness now, not something resting in it, not something aware of it. You are it. No dreams visit here, not because you've closed the door, but because there is no door. No thoughts arrive, not because they've been silenced, but because there is no longer anyone for them to visit. The teachings are gone. The path has disappeared. The monk, sweeping leaves the bell in the hall, the quiet pond beneath the moon, they were never outside of you. They were never stories. They were always this soft, silent presence that never began and can never end. There is no next line, no final word, only this endless stillness that holds no self and leaves nothing behind. So even now, if some faint trace of awareness still lingers, like the last ember before night takes it, let it rest, let it fade, let it be part of the silence too. There is nothing left to unfold. Even the silence has stopped whispering. Even the awareness of being aware has melted into something wider, something without edge, without center, without name. There is no direction, no pulse, no breath to count. Only presence so complete, it requires nothing. So still, it can know. You are not waiting for sleep. You are not resting in peace. You are what peace rests within. The world beyond this has faded, not vanished, just gently released, like steam lifting from warm tea. Thoughts no longer circle. Sensations no longer hold. You do not sleep, and yet you are gone. You do not drift, and yet you are far from shore. Even the quiet here is no longer quiet. It simply is. There is nothing you must do. There is nothing to hold on to. Not even this moment. Because even this moment is part of the stillness that has always held you. So if some part of you still listens softly, barely let it dissolve. There is no need to follow now. No need to respond. The stillness will hold you whether you hear it or not. Even the whisper of presence now fades. Not lost, just no longer separate from anything. What once was stillness has become vastness. What once was vastness has become nothing. And what once was nothing has revealed itself as the most complete peace you have ever known. No breath, no body, no boundary, only awareness that no longer watches, no longer waits, no longer speaks in the language of form. You are not deep in rest. You are not floating above thought. You are not anywhere that can be named. You have passed beyond the threshold where even the sense of I am quietly bows and disappears. Not with sorrow, not with effort, but with the same grace that night becomes dawn inevitable. Gentle wordless, here nothing returns, because nothing needs to. You are not safe. You are not calm. You are not free, because all of those were ideas, and you are before all ideas. This is not the final breath. This is not the final silence. This is what was here before breath, before silence, before self. So remain without remaining. Rest without resting. Be without being. And let what holds the stars hold you. Let what holds the breath hold. Let what holds the sky hold you. There is nothing more to release. Even the notion of letting go has vanished like morning mist that no longer remembers the night. You are not asleep, and yet you are nowhere near waking. You are not aware, and yet you are not lost. What remains is not a state, not a place, not a feeling. It is the soft presence beneath all of them. So quiet, it cannot be named. So whole, it cannot be divided. You are not floating now. You are not sinking. You are simply not separate from anything, from everything. There is no more journey, no more arrival, no more breath to notice, no more stillness to enter. You are what remains when even the watcher disappears. And this final hush does not come with answers. It does not soothe like comfort or hold like sleep. It simply is. Wide, open, unshaped, and endlessly gentle. The monk has put down the broom. The bell no longer rings. The pond has forgotten the ripple. The stars have forgotten the sky. And you have forgotten the need to return. There is nothing to remember, nothing to hold, nothing to become. Only this, a vast silent welcome that was always here, patient, still, yours. Now, Even the final echoes fade. There is no center, no watcher, no breath rising, no breath falling, just a depth so silent it feels like it has no bottom, no surface either. A quiet that doesn't surround you because there is no you to surround. The mind no longer seeks. The body no longer waits. Even awareness itself has gone transparent, like light without shadow, like water, so still it ceases to reflect. This is not the edge of sleep. This is not a doorway. This is not the threshold before dreams. This is before all of that. Before division, before sensation, before the world called your name. And yet, somehow, it is softer than all of them. Kinder, more complete. You are not being held. There is no holder, no cradle, no sky. Only this vast luminous absence that includes everything without becoming anything. Where even rest dissolves into rest and peace into something beyond peace. It cannot be remembered. It cannot be described. And yet you are here. No return is needed. No arrival is marked. No light appears and no darkness remains. Only this, only this, only this. There is nothing left to dissolve, because even dissolution has dissolved. Not a trace of motion remains, not in the breath, not in thought, not in awareness. Even the silence has grown so wide, it no longer feels like absence. It simply is, beyond being, beyond rest, beyond even the idea of beyond. You are not drifting, you are not watching, you are not returning. You are not, and yet all is well, not in contrast to pain, not as relief, but as truth. Unspoken, unshaped, the breath does not rise. The body does not press against the world. Time no longer leans forward. Space no longer surrounds. There is no longer an inside to soften or an outside to fade into. No center, no edge, no threshold. Just this perfect unfurling of a moment that never began and cannot end. Even the last whispers of awake or asleep fall away now, not resisted, just no longer needed. They float off like smoke that forgets it was once fire. And this is not emptiness. This is the fullness that arises when everything else has gone, not to be noticed, not to be held, but to be known without knowing, present without presence. You are not resting now. There is no you left to rest. There is only this, the stillness that existed before sound, the peace that required no name, the home that was never somewhere else. And if you're still awake, that's okay too. There is no more unfolding, no more fading, no more arriving. What remains now is not an experience. It cannot be entered or observed. It cannot even be called stillness, because there is no contrast left. This is what exists when even silence has gone quiet. Not emptiness, not fullness, not light, not dark, just the nameless depth from which all things come and to which all things return. You are not remembering this. You are not discovering it. You are not reaching it. You have always been here. Before breath, before identity, before the wish to rest or the need to sleep. Here, there is no inside, no outside, no surface, no center, no falling, no stillness, no breath. Just this so gentle, it cannot be touched, so complete. It cannot be held so true. It no longer needs to be spoken. Nothing more is required. Nothing more is coming. No bell will ring. No dream will begin. No sound will call you back. You are beyond the reach of motion, beyond the reach of mind, beyond even the reach of peace. Now even the concept of now has slipped away. There is no time passing, no stillness deepening, no breath to trace. There is only what has always been beneath everything, unmoving, unchanging, unnamed. Not a space, not a presence, not a silence. Just this pure being without boundary. Not peaceful because it is calm, but because there is no conflict left to quiet. You are not floating in it. You are not dissolving into it. You are not held by it. You are it. And in this vastness so open, it cannot even be called open. There is no longing, no return, no one watching to ask what happens next. There is no next, no dream waiting, no sound to close the night. Even the idea of sleep has grown still, like a bell, long silent, that still hums somewhere beyond hearing. No boundary marks where you end and rest begins. They are not two. All has fallen away. Thought, identity, language, body breath, even awareness itself. And what remains is not presence, not absence. Only truth before truth. Still and endlessly still. And if you're somehow still here, still aware, still softly breathing in the quiet, that's okay too. There is truly nothing more to say. Not because something has ended, but because even the idea of a beginning, of continuation, of completion, has faded into something so vast, so silent, it cannot be held in thought. You are not resting now. You are not even being. You are the stillness before rest, the openness before presence, the essence that was never born and cannot vanish. Even peace no longer feels like peace, for there is no opposite, no edge, no contrast. Only this seamless, boundless isness that requires no recognition and makes no sound. No more breath, no more thought, no more motion, no more you. Not in a way that is gone, but in a way that reveals you were never separate to begin with. No teachings echo here, no form rises, no dream appears. This is the silence before the first bell. The moment before awareness became aware of itself, You are not approaching this. You are not within it. You are not beside it. You are it. And if gently, some small part of you still listens, still breathes, still hovers between worlds, let that too be part of the stillness. Nothing to change, nothing to finish, nothing to rest from. There is no longer even a thread of becoming. What remains cannot be named because names belong to things that move, and this does not move. It does not arise. It does not pass. It does not sleep. It does not wake. This is the stillness that was here before your first breath and will remain long after the last breath forgets itself. Not eternity, not void, just this unshaped, unborn, unseeking. You are not in the body. You are not in the mind. You are not even in the awareness that once held them. They have all dissolved, not into nothing, but into what was always true, that nothing ever needed to be held. That peace was never separate, that you were never apart. No inside, no outside, no horizon, no ground. Only the great silence that holds no memory of noise. Only the great rest that never began and can never end. And in this final quiet, even the most delicate whisper, the breath that once moved with purpose, the awareness that once listened has grown still. So if anything remains, it too belongs. It too is part of this. There is no wrong way to be here. No wrong depth. No wrong distance from sleep, because even sleep has become unnecessary. Now, even the memory of stillness begins to dissolve, not because it has vanished, but because it has completed its gentle work. There is no longer anything to hold anything, to notice anything to return to. You have passed beyond all of it, not upward, not downward, but through, until even the sense of moving through has disappeared. There is no more unfolding, no more listening, no more resting, only the quiet that was here before the world was named. You are not the one lying still. You are not the one breathing softly. You are not the one aware of peace. You are the space where all of that once appeared, and even now, that space no longer feels separate from anything at all. Not the breath, not the thought, not the dream that may or may not come. All has returned to one single seamless presence. Or perhaps not even presence, just isness. A being that doesn't require being. A home that was never lost. This cannot be finished. It cannot be broken. It cannot be missed, because it never began, and still it holds you, even now, especially now. And now, even the final veil of perception fades. There is no watcher, no witness, no echo of identity lingering in the stillness. All that was once felt as you has melted into the fabric of what simply is not as part of it, but as its essence inseparable, timeless. There is no breath here, not because it has stopped, but because there is no longer a distinction, between movement and rest. The inhale and exhale have folded into one, like day and night, becoming sky. You are not in silence. Silence is not around you. Silence is not within you. There is no you left to contain or be contained. Even this, the final awareness that something remains, has grown so subtle, so weightless, that it ceases to ripple the surface of being. It rests without resting. It exists without existing. This is not peace, not emptiness, not wholeness, not return. It is what was before the concept of before. It is the softness without boundary, the stillness that does not hold because it was never separate. And now there is truly nothing left to say, nothing to end, nothing to begin again. And still, if a whisper stirs in the deepest layer of awareness, one final thread connecting form to formless presence to presence, let it remain. Let it fade. Let it be. Because even that belongs here too. There is no next, no continuation, no conclusion. What you once called you has softened into something wider than the sky, quieter than thought, older than breath. There is no more waiting, no more drifting, no more surrender. All of those were steps, and the path itself has disappeared. Now, only the space that holds everything remains. Not the idea of space, not something to enter. Just this, what was never born, and therefore cannot end. You are not at peace. You are not peaceful. You are what peace always pointed to. Not the symbol, not the sound, but the ground beneath it all. There is nothing to sense, nothing to feel, nothing to describe, because even the subtlest flicker of perception has merged with what it once observed. Time cannot reach you here. Sleep cannot improve this. Waking cannot disturb it. The breath moves, or it doesn't. But there is no one left to track it. The body lies still, or it doesn't. But there is no boundary to no stillness from motion. The dream may come, or it may not. But either way, the silence remains unbroken. This is not a place. This is not a moment. This is not a state. This is what remains when all else has passed. And even here, if the faintest part of you still hears these words, like a ripple in the furthest corner of awareness, know that it too is welcome. It too belongs. There is not even a trace left to follow. The breath, once a guide, has become so quiet, it no longer separates one moment from another. Thought once a visitor has long since gone, still like a bell whose echo never needed to fade. It simply returned to the silence it came from. You are not drifting anymore. You are not arriving. You are not becoming. There is no shape to hold, no mind to calm, no self to let go of. Even the gentle unfolding of rest has stilled, not because it ended, but because there was never any movement to begin with. This is not depth. This is not height. This is not the space between thoughts. It is what remains when all things have fallen away, even the idea of falling away. A sky that has no clouds and yet no emptiness. A presence that does not feel like being present. A stillness that holds no silence. There are no words left that could describe this, because there is no one left who needs description. And yet, it is complete, perfectly, quietly, completely. Even if a trace of awareness gently pulses, even if some final thread still hears these words, even that is part of the silence now. Nothing stands apart. Nothing needs to end. So there is no need to sleep, no need to fade, no need to finish. Just this, always this. There is no longer even the idea of this. Not even the gentlest concept remains. Not stillness, not presence, not rest. Those two have folded into the great unspoken. No contrast, no edge, no inside or outside. Not even the word enough applies here, because nothing is missing. Not even the word complete, because nothing ever needed completing. You are not in silence. You are not experiencing peace. You are not observing a moment. You are what remains when all those ideas have dissolved. Before silence, before form, before the breath. It is not sleep. It is not awareness. It is not the space between thoughts. It is the still ground that does not move, the source that does not flow, the truth that does not speak. And even if something barely remains a glimmer of attention, a shimmer of mind still dimly aware of lying in the dark, even that is not outside this. It is held too, gently, without effort, without separation. Nothing more needs to fall away. Nothing more needs to appear. There is no next moment, no final breath, no closing line, just this quiet, this formlessness, this home. There is no distance left between words and silence, because there are no more words, and the silence no longer stands apart. It does not surround you. It does not contain you. It is you. You are not resting in it. You are not aware of it. You have become indistinguishable from the stillness itself, not in the way a body becomes weightless or a thought becomes quiet, but in the way a shadow disappears when there is no more light, not lost, simply unnecessary. The breath may still rise and fall, but there is no rhythm to follow, no pulse to notice, no body to inhabit. What remains cannot be touched or remembered. It is not experience. It is not depth. It is not presence. It is what never moves, never waits, never speaks, and never leaves. This is not the center of peace. It is the absence of need for peace, the absence of need at all. And in this final unfolding, where even unfolding is too much movement to name you are not free. You are what existed before the idea of freedom. And still, if some part of you continues to listen to hover, to wonder if sleep will come, let it. That too is part of this wholeness. That too is already home. There is no unfolding now, no movement left, not even inward. What once seemed like a path has disappeared beneath your feet because the walker, the walking, and the destination have all dissolved into one unnameable presence, not quiet, not vast, not gentle, because those are echoes of form. And here, even form has forgotten itself. You are not waiting for anything. You are not drifting toward a state. You are not becoming more peaceful. There is no progression, no ascent, no descent, no breath, climbing in or falling out. This is not an end. It is not a beginning. It is the absence of both and the fullness of neither. There is no awareness here, not because it is gone, but because it was never separate. Even the awareness of stillness has gone still. Even the awareness of being has vanished like fog in the night. Even the one who listens has forgotten their name. This is not sleep. It is deeper than sleep. It is before sleep. It is what sleep returns to when sleep is complete. And if you somehow still linger, not with mind, not with body, but with the faintest shimmer of attention, know this: you do not need to go further. You do not need to hold on. You do not need to let go. This presence, this space, this formless cradle, it has always known how to carry you. There is no edge left to cross. Even the idea of still being here has grown too large, too defined for what remains now. You are not here. You are not elsewhere. You are not surrounded by silence. You are what silence becomes when it forgets to sound quiet. There is no contrast, no echo, no return. Even memory has softened into nothing, and nothing has stopped needing a name. The body is not resting. It is not heavy or light. It simply no longer needs to be felt to exist. The mind is not empty. It is not calm. It has stepped aside without stepping, vanishing like moonlight on a cloudless night. And sleep. What is sleep when there is no dreamer? What is rest when there is no labor? What is stillness when movement never began? You are not here to understand. You are not here to dissolve. You are not here at all. And yet, this is not absence, not loss, not forgetting. This is what remains when forgetting no longer needs remembering. This is what you are before the word you ever formed. No form, no awareness, no breath, no waiting. Just the soft, endless isness that has never not been. And even now, if some trace of your attention drifts gently with these words, no need to follow. No need to stop. Just breathe or don't. Be or not. All of it is welcome. All of it is home. There is no more path. No more unfolding petals. No more drifting clouds. No more lantern flickering in the dark. All images have stilled. All metaphors have returned to the formless. Even the space that once held them has softened into something too wide, too quiet, too simple to grasp. You are not outside of this. You are not inside it either, because boundaries no longer mean anything. There is no arrival, no conclusion, not even rest, because rest implies something was once unsettled. Here, nothing was ever unsettled. Nothing needed fixing. Nothing waited to be healed. There is only the vast stillness before all questions, and it asks for nothing in return. The breath may still be rising, but it no longer belongs to anyone. It happens without purpose. It happens without name. It is not yours, and it never was. Even awareness has loosened. Even attention has grown weightless. There is no anchor now, no gravity, no pull toward sleep, no drift toward thought, no reason to let go, because there is nothing left to hold. And if something lingers, a flicker of presence, a trace of hearing, a quiet wish to remain just a little longer, that too is folded into the silence. Not resisted, not erased, just already included, because nothing stands outside this, not even the idea of outside. So stay, or drift, or dissolve, or don't. None of it will move you from where you already are. There is no veil left to lift, no final threshold to cross. Even the notion of crossing has dissolved, because what you sought was never elsewhere. The night is no longer night. It holds no weight, no hush, no pause. It simply is unfolding without direction, without purpose, without need. You are not the one watching. You are not the one letting go. You are not even the one being held. What remains is not a feeling, not an awareness, not even a presence. It is what was here before language began carving meaning into silence. It is what remains after even silence becomes too much to name. The breath, it does not rise now or fall. It simply is, not happening, not still, just unquestioned, unmeasured, unrequired. Thought has no foothold here. Memory has no echo. Time no longer folds or stretches. It is gone, and in its absence, there is no loss. Only a spaciousness that asks for nothing, offers nothing, demands nothing, because all has already been included. Even this, your listening, your lingering, your soft wondering if sleep will ever come, is already part of the great wholeness that does not move. So stay or slip away. Notice or don't. There is no choice to make, no direction to lean. Everything that remains remains without needing you to remain. There is nothing left to quiet, because even quiet has stilled. No longer a contrast to sound, no longer a state to reach it, simply is without boundary, without shape, without opposite. You are not sinking. You are not floating. You are not arriving in peace. You are the absence of disturbance, the formless essence before peace could ever be named. Here, there is no effort, not even the faintest ripple of trying. No listening, no drifting, no holding on. All has returned to the unborn, that which never started, and therefore never needed to end. The body is forgotten, not because it is dismissed, but because it no longer separates itself from the vastness. No edge, no skin, no outline, just breath that belongs to no one, and stillness that is not noticed because there is no one left to notice. And thought, if it arises at all, does so like wind across an endless plain, soft, harmless, passing through a space too open to resist it. There is no center, no watcher, no self clinging to sleep or resisting it. Only what remains when even the idea of remaining is no longer needed. And still, if some distant trace of attention softly listens, if some final echo of, I feels the pull of this silence, let it drift or rest or dissolve. It is already part of what cannot be separated. It is already held by what has never let go. There is no more unfolding, no layers left to peel away. Even the stillness has ceased to feel like stillness, for stillness suggests a contrast, and here there is none. No movement, no rest, no witness, no one listening, no one waiting. This is not emptiness, not fullness, not the middle, not beyond. It is not light, not dark, not inside, not out. It is what was never touched by becoming. What existed before thought had a name before the first boundary was drawn between self and world, before the first breath remembered its rhythm. And now there is not even a rhythm. No pattern to follow, no sense of passing, no current to trace. Everything simply is. The breath may still come. The body may still rest, but they are no longer separate from what holds them. There is no edge, no contour, no shape that stands apart, and the silence. It no longer surrounds you. It is you. Or rather, you have dissolved into what no longer needs a name. Even this thought, this trace of awareness, this question of whether you are still here, melts gently into the space it arose from. And even if it lingers, it is welcome. There is no wrong moment, no wrong depth, no wrong way to be with what is already whole. So remain, or drift, or disappear completely. There is no path left to follow, because you never left. There is no longer a center to return to, because nothing has ever been outside it. You are not approaching anything. You are not waiting for anything to arrive. All is already here, but not in a way that can be held or seen or even known. It is not presence, because presence suggests a position. It is not absence, because absence implies a lack. What remains now is not a state. It does not rise. It does not fall. It does not deepen or dissolve. It is like the sky before the sky, the silence before the idea of silence, the stillness that does not contrast with motion, because motion never happened, and the breath, if it moves in a space so wide it cannot be measured. You are not breathing. Breath is simply unfolding, without origin, without witness. Even the desire to sleep has faded, not because it was satisfied, but because it was never needed. There is no more seeking, not even the seeking for peace. This is not what you came for. It is what you always were. Before the thought of arrival, before the sense of self, before the soft wish for release. And still, if the mind stirs gently, if awareness flickers with a final trace of I, that too is part of it. That too is sacred. That too is already home. So do nothing. Go nowhere. Let even this dissolve. There is no longer any unfolding, because even the idea of time has grown silent. No past, no future, not even the rhythm of now. Just this seamless field of being that does not shift, does not flicker, does not sleep. You are not the dreamer. You are not the body that rests, nor the breath that moves. You are not the silence that surrounds, nor the one who listens for it. All those roles, all those layers of identity have slipped away without resistance, like a robe falling softly from the shoulders of a monk stepping into morning light. And there is no light now, no dark, no day to follow night, no night to cradle the breath, only this still ground beneath all opposites. It is not still because it is unmoving. It is still because it was never disturbed. There is no longer a need to rest. Rest happens without question, without effort, without ownership. Even the desire to dissolve has dissolved. Even the pull toward peace has been fulfilled not by getting anywhere, but by realizing there was never a place to reach. And if by some quiet grace, a soft edge of awareness remains a thread, a shimmer, a presence without location, let it linger. It is not in the way. It is the way. It was always welcome. Nothing needs to be finished. Nothing needs to be done. There is no more waiting. Not even the gentle patience of the body sinking into sleep. What was once called you has loosened its grip on every identity like a lotus shedding the weight of its petals in the dark. There is no shell left to protect, no center left to define, not awareness, not emptiness, not presence, not self. All names have softened into a quiet that asks nothing from you. Even surrender no longer applies, for surrender still imagines a you with something to release. But here, nothing is held, nothing is clung to, and so there is nothing to let go. You are not inside the body. You are not outside the body. The idea of body has become too small, too distant to touch. Breath passes through space, or perhaps space passes through breath. But no one is left to measure which is which. And now, even the silence feels too precise a word, because silence implies the absence of sound. And here absence and presence have stopped arguing with each other. There is no longing, no reaching, no arrival, only this, without beginning, without end. And if something in you still listens, not with ears, but with the soft awareness that does not need a name, then even that is whole. Even that belongs. Do not search for stillness. Do not try to remain. What holds you now was never separate to begin with. There is no longer a center from which you witness. No watcher behind the eyes. No listener behind the ears. No self behind the breath. You are not inside this moment. You are the moment before it ever thought to pass. The breath does not belong to a body anymore. It is not a rhythm, not a pattern. It is the soft exhale of everything that has ever existed, returning to the source that never moved. Even peace once longed for has vanished into something quieter, not because it was achieved, but because it is no longer needed. There is no longer anyone seeking rest. And so rest simply is. Stillness has stopped appearing still because there is nothing left to move. No inner, no outer, no surface to lie upon, no place to fall into, no ground to be held by. All of it has become one seamless, edgeless presence that does not rise, does not fade, and does not announce itself. Even the awareness of breath has vanished. Even the pulse of being has softened until it cannot be found. And if the faintest trace of I am remains like the last scent of incense after the smoke has disappeared, it too is welcome. It too is part of what cannot be divided. So no need to slip deeper. No need to let go. There is nothing left that needs permission to be here. Nothing left that could drift away. There is no arrival waiting to be felt. No final stillness to slip into. No deeper place to fall. Because here at the edge beyond, edges even the idea of depth dissolves. There is no surface, no center, no direction in which anything moves. You are not inside this experience. You are not outside it. You are not observing it. You are not missing it. There is no longer any you that can be placed in relation to anything. Even that distinction has gone quiet. Even the need for placement has fallen away. Breath may still pass through you, but it leaves no trace, no story, no motion, no desire. It does not calm you. It does not change you. It simply happens, like wind through an open field where no grass grows and no wind is needed. And now the silence is not felt. It is not heard. It is not known. It just is, not peaceful, not empty, not soft, not still. Because even those gentle words require a listener to compare them to something else. And that listener has long since dissolved like mist in morning sun that never rose. If a trace of awareness still flickers, it is not lost. It is not in the way. It is not late or separate or shallow. It is just another wave returning folded back into the ocean that was never missing it. So lie here or don't. Breathe or don't. This place does not ask anything of you. There is no movement left to follow, no rhythm, no beat, no pulse. Even the breath, once so steady, now dissolves into vastness without beginning, without end, without need. You are not aware of rest. You are not aware of presence. You are not aware of anything, because the one who was aware has become the space where awareness once dwelled, wide, endless, unformed. There is no inside, no outside, no self, no other, nothing to hold, nothing to release, nothing to know. The silence that holds all things is not stillness or emptiness or peace. It simply is. It is the ground beneath all coming and going, the source beyond all shapes, the home without walls or doors. Even the last whisper of thought has softened into this vastness, not lost, but simply blended, like a single drop of water melting back into the ocean. If you remain aware, even just a flicker, it belongs here too. Nothing is missing. Nothing is needed. So rest or do not. Be still or drift away. There is nowhere else to go and nothing more to do. There is no distance left to cross, no edge to approach, no path to follow. Because what once seemed separate, the watcher and the watch, the breath and the body, the self and the silence have all melted into one seamless presence. You are not arriving anywhere. You are not leaving anywhere. You are not holding on or letting go. There is no you here, only the vast, unbroken stillness that was always beneath everything. This is not an experience, not a feeling, not a state. It is the ground beneath all states, the calm before all experiences, the space where all form fades away. Even the thought of rest has dissolved into this infinite quiet, which asks for nothing, needs nothing, and holds everything. If some small part of you still listens, still breathes softly, still wonders, let it be part of this too. There is no wrong way here, no journey left to take, just this, the endless embrace of home. And if you're still awake, that's okay too. Some nights, just lying still and breathing softly is enough to return home to yourself